Tomorrow marks the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots here in New York City, which served as a catalyst for the gay rights movement. In our series, Issues That Matter, we take a look this morning at the process of the LGBTQ community has made and the challenges that still persist. A recent survey by the Trevor Project reveals nearly 1 in 5 LGBTQ young people attempted suicide in the last year. For more than 2 decades, the Trevor Project has worked to end this long-running crisis. It offers emergency counseling by phone, text, and chat. More than 200,000 calls and messages come in every year. That's a lot of people calling. Amit Paley is CEO and Executive Director of the Trevor Project and joins us at the table. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You all have just released a survey to really put things in perspective. And while there has been some progress made, there's still, as you point out, a lot of work to be done. What concerns you most, Amit?
I think what concerns me most is still the discrimination and the sense of isolation that so many LGBTQ young people feel across the country. The survey you mentioned that we just released found that 39% of LGBTQ youth seriously considered suicide in the past year. That is heartbreaking and unacceptable in 2019 and shows how much work we have to do to make sure every young person feels loved and supported.
And sometimes you are on the phone. You are on the phone answering when people call in. What are you hearing? What are they saying to you?
Yeah, I've been a volunteer for 8 years, and a lot of what we hear from young people is this sense of fear of what will happen if they ever reveal to someone who they really are and who they really love, and they're scared of coming out to their parents or in schools. And so we let them know that there may be people in their community who don't accept them.
What advice do you give parents who have kids in this position to help them?
The most important thing is to come from a place of love. I mean, we give a lot of advice on specifically how to respond and to support, but if you come from a place of love, if you come from a place of this is my child and I love them no matter what and I will support them, it's very hard to go wrong if that's your core focus.
On this point of a place of love, when you look at the long-term trends from Stonewall to now, it's definitely a story of progress and increases in tolerance. But I was caught by surprise by the cover of USA Today, which has a study from GLAAD and Harris showing that young people are actually displaying less tolerance in some respects. Are we at risk here at 50 years from Stonewall of moving in the wrong direction?
There's been a lot of progress, but we definitely are at risk. Those rights were hard fought, and there has been a backslide in many regards. We have seen since, in particular, the presidential election in 2016, the day after the 2016 presidential election, our call volume at the Trevor Project more than doubled in a 24-hour period of time. When the president tweeted that transgender people would be banned from the military, we saw trans and non-binary youth reaching out to us in record numbers, because words really matter. I think we talk a lot about the policies. Policies and laws protect people, but when people in positions of power use hateful words, young people hear that and it makes them feel like they are less than or not deserving of love and respect.
Help us understand why, Amit, in 2019 people still feel alone, because so many people have spoken out publicly and very proud of their orientation, but you said not everybody sees that message.
Not everyone sees that message, and I think we have to remember there are young people across the country. If you're a young trans person in rural North Dakota, you might see on TV that there's a lot of acceptance, but then you look around your community, if you don't see any openly LGBTQ people, if your faith community is not supporting you, if your school is not allowing you to use the restroom that corresponds with your gender identity, you're going to feel like people won't accept you, and that can lead to that sense of isolation and feelings of wanting to kill yourself.
Conversion therapy is still something in 2019.
Totally unacceptable.
That surprised me.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. Conversion therapy, which is the completely discredited and dangerous practice of trying to forcibly change your sexual orientation or gender identity, it is still legal in 32 states in the country.
Wow.
We estimate there are more than 700,000 people who have undergone conversion therapy in this country. And so we are working really hard. And we also know that when you undergo conversion therapy, it puts you at much higher risk of suicide. So we need to stop that in every state in this country.
So much work to be done still despite all the progress. Amit Paley, thank you so much for being with us this morning.